Are you prepared for Dragonflight? Well, if not, here's your crash course on what's coming during the pre-patch, or pre-patches, spoilers, and how that will impact you as a player. So, as I'm sure you're aware, Season 4 is ending week commencing the 24th of October, so 25th, 26th or 27th, depending on where you are in the world. And immediately we're going into Phase 1 of the pre-patch from there. And I say Phase 1 because we have a little bit of a roadmap. We're getting... Actually, before we discuss what we're getting, let's discuss what the end of Season 4 actually means. And in a nutshell, it is just going to result in the titles associated with Season 4, both for PvE and PvP, being handed out and awarded to the top end players. So if you're really pushing and you're quite close, you obviously have a week left to achieve it, and I wish you the very best of luck. However, for the rest of us, more casual heathens and players, we are quite simply not really affected. We're still going to be able to get the Keystone Master mount, fated mounts, things like that. So we don't need to worry about that because they will still be attainable during the pre-patch. So what are we actually getting then, now we're discussing the pre-patch? Well, Phase 1 obviously lands the same day, regional reset, that Season 4 ends, and we'll be getting the talent system revamp. So we get the new fancy talent trees. The UI changes. Accessibility features, we get a few of them. Rated solo shuffle. So the solo brawl that has been tested throughout the back end of Shadowflight is now becoming a rated system. Solo queue hype for the PvPers among us. And we get the new class and race combinations that were talked about. So rogues, priests and mages are now available to all classes, which finally means after 17 years of joking about it, we can finally find those sneaky Tauren rogues, which is fantastic. Now, what does this actually mean then for the first week, 2 weeks of this pre-patch cycle? Well, it means that we're going to get to play around with our add-ons, because with the changes to the UI and the update to it, it means that for some players, having things like Bartender, LVUI may actually be unnecessary now, especially if you want to come away from how intensive LVUI can be. It means you get to kind of play around, see how things look, and if you like the new heads-up display, happy days. It means you can remove quite a few add-ons and remove some of that bloat. Alternatively, you might just want to stay with LVUI. Personally, I'm a little bit undecided. I'm going to spend those couple of weeks sorting things out and obviously getting to grips with the new talent trees. Now, Phase 2, which is the more important of the two phases, is going to be landing 15th of November or 16th, 17th, depending on your region. And this is where we get the new class, Draxthia, its starting zone, the Forbidden Reach, new dungeon, Uldaman the Legacy of Tyr, which is the updated Badlands dungeon. So there's a bit of a questline there, and we also get the actual in-game event, which is called Primal Storms, where there are various locations out in the world that we need to defend and interact with, which leads to various cosmetics, catch-up gear, and things like that. The catch-up gear is 252, so it's not the greatest catch-up gear, but it's still good, especially if you're like leveling into it and you want to level a Tauren rogue or mage, for instance, and then you want to obviously give it some gear prior to Dragonflight. Now, for those of you that are collectors, during the pre-patch you will still be able to get the aforementioned KSM mount during the pre-patch, and also you'll still be able to get the fated mount, Jiggleworth Senior, the Ooze Cat. Now, with the pre-patch, all raids will become fated, which means that you can bang this out in a day or a week, depending on what difficulty you're running, and you could even try and get the title if you do heroic, or the teleports if you do it on mythic, because obviously prior to the pre-patch everything's on a rotating cycle, with Sepulchre being next week, or come this reset, and then finally ending off on Castle Nathria before we go into all three being available. Now, this is your pre-patch crash course. If you want to know a little bit more about each of these individually, I'll be releasing a video that will be going in depth, but that video will also cover early doors Dragonflight prep as well, and how you might want to approach it with key dates early doors for that. Hopefully this video has helped and has kind of given you a little bit of an idea on how you're going to prepare, but please let me know in the comments below, and I will see you all in the next video. In the meantime, have a good one, and I'll see you all later.